Welcome to Complete Data Online Training Session 1. My name's Carissa Cole and I'll be taking you through today's session. Session 1 is looking at setting ourselves up within the database. And we're also going to look at setting up the initial features that we require to be able to use the feature, select and send, and or set and forget. In Complete Data, we're going to go into My Settings now, and we're going to click on My Settings. In the My Settings area of Complete Data, you will have a view of data entry like this. You'll need to make sure all the details will be populated in the correct proper text format as viewed in the log. Please use your Tab key to click in and populate your details and then tab down. This is a nice easy way of moving into the correct formatted box that you require, populate your details and then continue forward. Within Complete Data, as soon as you click on the grey screen, any details that you've populated will automatically save. There are 3 mandatory fields that we require to be populated within the Complete Data's My Settings area, which are mobile phone number, email address and SMTP mail server information. We need to capture these details in the correct format so that we can send SMSs and emails successfully from Complete Data. With the mobile information here, we need to make sure that we have the 4 digits, the following 3 digits and the remaining 3 digits populated with no spaces at the end of the detail. We would tab our way through and complete the rest of the information. You will require the SMTP outgoing server information, and you can capture this detail off your IT professional, or maybe your administrator may know this information. And or you can contact your service provider and they may be able to provide you with this detail. Once you've captured this detail and populated into Complete Data in the correct format, so it may be something along the lines of 10.10.10 or mail@bigpond.com.au. Then once you've populated it, you'll be able to select and send emails from Complete Data successfully. We're just going to use the scroll key and scroll down, and the next area we're going to be viewing is the email signature sign-off. In this area we need to make sure our email sign-off is to our Office standard. Come in and click into this area and populate the relevant details and make it to your standard that you like to work, and click on the grey screen. Once you've populated this area, you will never ever have to sign off on an email from Complete Data ever again. If you have this area filled in here, you will not need to sign off individually on each template from the Templates area of Complete Data. We'll view this a little later on in the session. We're just going to move down and have a look at the HTML header and footer email information. In here you would need to contact a graphic designer and get a HTML header and footer created if you don't currently have one. This will enable you to send a professional looking logo and sign off on your emails from Complete Data, and able to send out a photo as well. We're now going to go up and we're going to have a look at how we can change our password. We can use the scroll feature to go back to the top of the page and click on Change My Password. This will bring up a Change Account Password dialog box. You'll need to populate your current password, being password, into this box, retype your new password that you require, and then retype the password again. Once you click OK, this will let you know that you have successfully changed your password. It may take a couple of moments to do this as it is updating 50 databases within the system. I'm just going to click Cancel now, as I don't require my password to be changed. We're just going to come back and click on the CD icon within here to take us back to the main menu. Anywhere within Complete Data that you do see this big CD icon, as soon as you click on it, it will bring you through to the main menu area. Now that we're back to the main menu, we're going to look at how we can set up our personal assistants or other agents in our office that may be working with us in the systems area. The systems area of complete data is essentially the engine room that holds the information that is not relevant to an individual client. This holds all our letters, templates and trails. We're just going to come in here and select on systems, which will bring us through to this view here. We're going to come in and we're going to hit admin. This will open up our admin database. You'll come up here and hit new account. From here we'll need to populate the details of the person that we're adding an account in for, making sure that there is no space at the end of their name, using our tab key to the surname, and also populating their access level. Everyone who is using your system should be tagged as sales unless they are an administrator who requires admin or super admin access. These accesses provide different privileges, and most clients or agents that are populated into your area here only require the sales details. We select the information, hit OK, and that will create a new account for us. We've now got a new account, and this person's username will be their first name space surname as yours, and also your password will be password for this client or agent. We can populate their position in here. If they are a sales executive, exactly the same as the person above, once again we can highlight, select and drag. We can go through and create as many new accounts as we require to populate into the system, and then we can click on the CD icon to take us back to the main menu, and or the systems area to take us back to the systems database. We'll just click back on systems for the moment. Now the systems database we're going to be doing quite a bit of work over the next 20 minutes in this area. We're going to customize the standard letters that you get within the purchase of complete data. We need to come into the letters area and click letters. In all the databases that you click into within complete data, you will always be brought through to the list view format here. We're just going to scroll to the top of the list view, and we can see that we have got up the top here 67 letters that are provided to you within the system. What we're going to do now is we're going to open up each of these letters and customize it to our standard of how we like to work and how we work within our office. We need to capture this detail and complete these details before we can move forward and set up our standard trails from the system. So we'll go through and customize a letter by clicking on details and opening CDMS word letter folder. This has opened up our individual letter. We're going to say yes to the SQL command, and we always say yes to that command. This has now opened up my letter number 1, confirmation. Once your letter has opened up, please be mindful of these address line 1, address 1, and these codes that have got the double brackets around them, or the double arrows. These are merge fields that require to be drawn through once we mail merge the details. We'll look at this a little bit later on, once in session 2, once we mail merge to a bulk group of contacts. For the moment now, just be mindful of these mail merge fields and work through your letter and customize the letter as such. So we'll just scroll down and we'll read this letter, and maybe this whole paragraph doesn't sit well with the way we like to work in our office. We're just going to copy this detail and we're going to delete it, and I can now save the changes. I've copied it for the information just in case I may need to populate it in here after I've removed it. I may decide that I need this information back in here. I may have been a bit hasty, I can just paste it back in, and then I can just hit the save feature, and that will still save. So we need to go through and customize these letters, take out the requirements that we don't need, pop in our new requirements, and save the function. Then we close this letter down and we can move forward to the next letter. We would use our arrow key here and we can move through to letter number 2, open this letter up, make changes that are relevant, and then close it down after saving it. So you can work through your list view here by opening yes to the SQL command, scroll down, maybe add in a paragraph here, and it's like any normal Word document. You can populate your logo, your photo and information in here and then save it. These letters that I have changed are now able to be used from my complete data system when I'm setting them against a contact. It is very important that we do go through and customize these letters. The sooner rather than later will help you work more effectively from your complete data system. Not only that, it will help us set our trails and create our own brand new trails. The next thing that we need to do is populate a new letter into my system. This may have been a letter that I've been using for quite a period of time that has been working quite well for me. What I need to do is come in and create a new letter. By selecting this detail, it will give me the next consecutive letter reference here. It's created a whole blank shell for me to be able to populate my details in once I create my letter within the system. I can go back to my list view, and the letter that I just created, number 81, is sitting right at the bottom of my details here. That essentially is the shell of where we're going to apply our letter to the system. But firstly, I need to open up a letter that is relevant and has the relevant mail merge fields in it to capture the details into a letter. I'll scroll up, and within Complete Data we do provide you with a number of spare letters. So we'll just work our way down and we'll find our letters that have got spare details on them. In here we can see that letter number 42 is a spare listing confirmation letter. We do give you 5 listing confirmation spare letters, 5 buyer prospect spare letters, and 5 listing spare letters. We give you these spare letters as they have got the relevant mail merge fields in for each individual database and where they're being drawn from. This takes out the hard work on your behalf so that you can just open it up and duplicate this letter. We're going to complete this feature now by selecting details of our spare letter, and the letter that we're going to be putting into our system is a listing confirmation letter. I need to open this letter up. Say yes to the SQL command again. And we can see that we're working on letter number 42. It's a confirmation spare. Essentially we need to duplicate this letter, so we come over to our feature here, select the details, come down to Save As, click on Save As, and this will take us straight through to our CDMS word letter folder. What we're going to do now is we're going to rename this letter. Our next consecutive number is 81. Now that we've got letter number 81 in here, we're going to rename it as well. So it's going to be Carissa's confirmation and I'm just deleting this information out. So I've now renamed it to LTR 081 Carissa's Confirmation, and I just hit save. That has now duplicated this letter for me, and we're now ready to start working with this letter. As you can see, we have LTR 081 Carissa's Confirmation, and we need to now just go and copy the details of the letter that we've been using previously and pop them into complete data. We need to get our letter set up first, so we will just take out this information, and I'm going to go and find my letter. I'm just going to minimize this for the moment and just say you have got your letter sitting on your desktop. Just open that letter up, and we're going to highlight all the information. So we go Control A, which highlights everything, Control C, which copies everything. We're going to minimize this letter that we opened up, and we're coming back to our letter that we were working on here. We now just highlight this detail and take out what we don't require, and then we hit Control V. This will paste all the details in for me, and I now have my letter. I may need to just customize it and make some changes and tidy it up a little, but essentially I haven't had to type anything as yet. So now that we're in this letter and we've got "Thank you for speaking with me about your property. As arranged, I will meet you at the appointment time and the appointment date," I need to insert these fields. I need to populate these mail merge fields into my letter. I can do this by coming up to Mailings, Insert Merge Field, and I can populate in here the letter A as I'm looking for appointment time and appointment date. So I'm selecting appointment time, and that's populated the details in here for me. I can put my cursor where I require it in here after I close down. Take out this detail. Come up to Mailings once again, Insert Merge Field, and select A again. As I know it is appointment date that I require, and I'll keep working my way through by hitting A until I come across the field that I require. Now in a moment I'm going to take you and show you where you can find a detailed description of each mail merge field within Complete Data that you will be able to utilize in your letters. We'll be able to print this off so that when we're looking at this view we know exactly what detail we need to select and insert into our letters. I'm just selecting appointment date, and I'll hit insert, and that has now populated for me here. I can hit close, and I'm now done with my letters. Everything else is in the format that I require. I'll just pop a space here, and I'm done. All I need to do now is hit save the changes, and I have now just saved everything that is on this letter that's living in my CDMS Word folder. I can close that down, and I can go back to my Complete Data, and as you see we're back on this letter reference here. We need just to click on List View, scroll down to the last letter that we created, LTR 081, and click on the details of the shell. We've completed half the job now in inserting our own letter into the system. All we need to do now is create our letter type, and it was listing confirmation. If we hover over this detail, it will give us a description of our letter type. So a letter type of anniversary will allow us to send a letter from the database once a year. Our buyer or prospect will allow us to set this from the contacts database. Also, the listing letter type will be able to be selected from the listing database only, and the listing confirmation from the appraisal screen and the listing confirmation database. So to select these details, we'll select our category type. Ours is listing confirmation, and we're going to populate a description here. Click on the grey screen and that's saved. I now need to tell Complete Data where to find this letter. If I can't remember the path where this letter lives, I can use my arrow key. I can go back to a letter that has this detail populated and I can follow the same path. This is the generic path for Complete Data Plus. So it'll be your C drive, Program Files, Complete Data Plus 5.5 and CDMS Word Letter. We need to now link our letter to Complete Data. We use our arrow key to go forward again to letter number 81, and we're going to link the letter. So we select link and we follow that path that we've either written down or have remembered. So we select My Computer, our C drive, Program Files, Complete Data, Complete Data 5.5, CDMS Word folder, and then we scroll along and we find our letter that we've populated. Here we've got letter number 81. We click on this detail and that will put it into our system. We can open this letter and check it and say yes to the SQL command. And here's my letter number 81, and I'm able to view it, see it, and if I do require any changes, I can still make these changes if necessary. We only ever make changes from the letters in the letters database. We can close this down now that we've seen it open successfully, and we can close all of them down. Our letter is now living within Complete Data. There is another way that we can utilize the letters from Complete Data and do this process all at once. You can come and click on Open CD Letter folder, and this will open up the whole folder and all the letters that you have in this folder. You can open each letter up, saying yes to the SQL command. Come up and click File and print each letter out of the 66 off and proof them. Make your changes in pen, come back to your system, open the letters up and start to work your way through this folder as well. Whichever way is simplest and easiest for you to attain this and implement it into the system, for it to be completed. We're just going to select on the CD icon now, and that's going to take us back to the main menu. Everything we've just changed in this area is under the Systems tab. At the moment we're going to go through and we're going to print off our mail merge reference guide. If we've gone into our letters database, open up our CDMS Word Letter folder and printed them all off, we can come in and select Mail Merge Reference, hit the print feature, and this will print out our list view of information. Everywhere within Complete Data that you require this to print, we can hit continue and we say yes. We select the printer that we require it to go from, and we'll also need to select records being browsed. In here at the moment it is reflecting blank record showing fields. So we just select in the box here, hit on records being browsed, and then hit OK, and that will print our list out for us. If we don't have it on records being browsed and have it on current record, it will only print out the first record from the system. So please ensure that records being browsed is selected and then hit OK. That's how we can print out our mail merge reference guide, and as here you can see that we've got a field name and description. So it gives us a description here, an example of the text that it's brought through from, and also the database that is relevant for this. We're just going to click on Systems to go back to the Systems area. Now that we've completed the letters, we're going to move forward and we're going to have a look at our templates. The templates is not so daunting like the letters database. It is very simple data entry in here. We click on Details as we're in the list view. We need to come in and customize these templates. You are given a total of 44 templates within the system, and we need to make sure these are to our standard that we like to work. This way we can apply it to our select and send and or our trails. If I didn't require this information here, I could highlight the detail, delete it out, and then I'll paste the alternative in here. My email template has now been successfully customized, and I will use my toggle bar either or my arrow keys here. I will work through this list and customize each of my email and SMS templates. Now we are going to look at creating a brand new template. We need to come up and we need to select on New Template. There are only two types of templates within this area of complete data. One is SMS and the other is email. We're going to create a brand new SMS template right now. By selecting SMS, we will now have characters which will be populated once we start to click in and type in this text box down here. Within the SMS templates, we have up to 160 characters. If we hover over here, it gives us a great description of the detail that comes from this area. We can populate our description being Chris's OFI, SMS, and I can click on the grey screen. I don't require an email subject as it is an SMS template, so I'll just come down to the next area. We do have a number of different merge fields that are applied from this drop down list here, so we can select the detail from here as well. Our mail merge list that we just printed off will come in handy so we know which text is being brought through. I'm just going to click into the white screen here, and I'm going to insert my merge field. I select the required merge field, click into the area that I require it in, and hit insert. I will then put it as I would like it to reflect in the SMS, so the person's name, a comma, and then my message. So we'll just have this brief message. You can populate whatever you like in here, up to 160 characters. If I required my email address or my mobile phone number, I can select the details from here, being ID email, click my cursor into this field, move a space, and hit insert. As soon as I click on the grey screen, you will notice this change and populate to 52 characters. We still have 100 odd characters that we can generate in this text. Anything that you are sending as an email or SMS more than once a week should be populated into this area of complete data so that you can select and send an email or SMS. We're just going to go back to the systems area of complete data now, and we're going to look at how we can apply this SMS into a trail. We've had a look at how we can create our own letters and customize the letters within complete data and create our own email and SMS templates. We're going to come into trails and we're going to set up our own trails and also customize the ones that come within complete data. We need to select on trails, and this will take us through to the list view. As you can see in here, you are provided with a total of 14 trails within the system. We've got an anniversary client care trail, a 42-day buyer trail, and other relevant trails for motivation. We're just going to click into the details of any of these trails, and you will hear these trails being reflected upon as future points of contact or our standard follow-up. This is our 15-year anniversary trail. As you can see, there is a task as a phone call that is going to be completed and set against a client each year from the date that they have purchased the property from. This is selected for years, and it is only generally the one that we have in complete data that does reflect years. The rest of the trails will reflect the days. If you didn't require it to be a 15-year trail, you only required it to be a 10-year trail, you can come through and delete the relevant information. By just using the red X, it will delete out those trails. As you can see here, there's a good description in this information here: 7-year anniversary, handwritten card, and a Christmas card is to be written as well. So we click on the grey screen and we're going to look at how we can customize this trail or any of the other trails. We're going to move forward through to our standard 42-day buyer trail. All the trails that are in complete data when you purchase the program are a brief way of communicating with your clients at a minimum standard. This is reflecting the minimum standard that we think you need to communicate with all your potential purchasers. Once we've met them, we would put them on a future point of contact reflecting a 42-day buy trail. You can have as many details in here as you require, and you can extend this out to a 62-day trial essentially. This trail is working quite well for me. I do like this trail, and I would like to actually change a few details and add a few more activities in to make it more the way I like to work. I actually send an SMS the first day that I meet the client, so I'm going to put that SMS in as a new activity. I select new activity, populate SMS, phone call, or whatever the situation is for the activity. We're going to select SMS. I'm going to leave this area blank. The reason we leave this area blank is so when we're setting a trail from the system, whoever is logged in, the user ID will set this detail from that person. The only time we select this detail in regards to a person's ID is if we've got a personal assistant or an administrator who would be completing this task on my behalf. So I'm just going to leave this blank, and we're going to tab across into the next feature. We're not using the letters at the moment, it is an SMS template that we're using, so we're going to tab across to the SMS templates. I can now select from my array of SMS templates here, and I may go and select the first open SMS. I may communicate this with them on 0 days from start. I click on the screen and this will populate it into the correct format. I can go in and add as many new activities as I require. The next one may be a letter. Once again, we're going to tab across and we can select from all the letters that are tagged as buyer or prospect that we just reflected in our letters data place. I would just go down and scroll my prospective purchaser letter and populate that. This letter may need to go out on day 15, so I will just click in here and populate 15 days. Click on the grey screen and that will populate it into the correct format here. So here you can see that it's put it in between 14 and 21 as the action that needs to be completed. Now whenever you're customizing your standard trails from Complete Data, you may delete out some features. Please be aware and make sure that you have the last activity either being a phone call or a task to set on a new trail. In here it's a 42-day buyer call and it's contact number 7 and we're going to set them on a new trail. It needs to reflect the last activity that we're going to be doing. So that's customizing a trail. We can create our own brand new trails from scratch, or we can duplicate a trail that we're quite fond of and know that it's a great standard and we just want to apply a few more details and keep the original trail. We can duplicate the trail by selecting duplicate. I can rename it by populating my description in here. And clicking on the grey screen. So this is now my 42-day buy trail. I've gone through, I've duplicated it, and I'm going to customize it now. I can scroll down, take out the letter that I don't require, take out the SMS I don't require, and insert some new activities from the new activity area. We're going to go up and we're going to create a brand new trail, not duplicating one from scratch. We need to select new trail, select our trail type, being listing or buyer or prospect, and this reflects which database it is available from when you're selecting a future point of contact. We're going to select buyer or prospect, we're going to put in a description, and my description is going to be Carissa's open for inspection trail. I can click on the grey screen, I can select a new activity, and I can start to go and create my standard. So firstly, on the Saturday, after I've met these clients, I'm going to select an SMS, I'm going to tab across, and I'm going to use one of my templates. So it's going to be one of these ones. After open house, first select that detail and put days from start. As soon as you click in this area, it does bring up the option for years. You need to click in and make sure your cursor is flashing and populate your days from start. I'm using 0 because I want to communicate with them on the Saturday evening after they've attended my open for inspection whilst they're out at dinner with their friends and family. The next activity may be an email in regards to all the new listings within my office. It's going to be my new listings template. By selecting this template, populating the days, day 3, and clicking on the grey screen again. So I'll just go through and work my way through this new setup. The next thing we may need to do is phone call, and it may be a follow-up. Once again, selecting the detail, and this may be also on day 3. The last task that I need to apply in this brand new trail that I'm doing is hitting new activity, making a task, and the task is going to be so it's going to be setting on new trail after I qualify them. But that's enough detail there for me, and we need to set a new trail. So make sure you've got this activity on the last day, at the last trail that you've got or activity you've got, being 3. You can break this up and create it however you like within your system. Make sure you write down your standard, which is the easiest way of how you're servicing your clients currently. Then come and implement it into the system once you've got all your professional communications such as your letters, templates and SMS templates into the system, and then you can go through and create a great standard or a future point of contact. Now that I've completed this detail, we're going to look at how we can select and set this information against an individual contact. We're going to come to the CD menu here, and we're going to come to the contacts area. We're going to create a brand new contact as we haven't got any contacts in our system, or we may have one, myself. And we're going to create our contacts details. I'm just going to fix this data entry up here, as it's highly important that we get the data entry right. So we've got myself. I met her at an open for inspection today, and I've captured these details, and I may have captured her phone number. I need to make sure that I'm going to qualify this person and put them on a future point of contact. We come up to trails. We select the trail that we require from our drop down list here, and I've got my 42-day buyer trail, which is standard. I can also apply my other trails that I have in the list here. As we can see, I just created Carissa's OFI trail, and I can select this detail and set it against the client. But we're going to just select on the 42-day buyer trail for now. I'm going to hit set the trail from the start date, being today's date that I met her, and here's all my next future points of contact and my professional communication. I have now set this client, and I can forget her until she pops up in my scheduled tasks. The whole purpose of today's session is so that we can take a little bit of pressure off you having to remember every opportunity and every communication that you've had and everything that you would like to do in regards to particular situations, such as chasing up your potential vendors, potential clients and purchasers. So now that we've selected this detail, we can go back to the main menu. We can come into Schedule Task Database as today, and there are no schedules at the moment. But I can go through and click on this week's schedules for an individual, and it's for myself, and I can see anything I've got coming up that needs to be completed against this client. Each day that you've set an activity for will come up automatically in the date format here. We'll look at scheduled task in session 2. So that's how we can select and forget and populate them on a professional point of contact. We're just going to go back to the main menu now and come back into systems and finish off the session. Now that we've had a look at creating our own new letters, templates, and then inserting them into our trails, we're going to look at the final area, the solicitors database. We clean up this solicitors database in this session so that we can move forward in session 3 and apply the solicitors to our sales advice. When we click into solicitors, You are provided with a total of 8,535 solicitors. We do need to come in here and clean up this detail. You can either select your state or the remaining postcodes that are in your area. You may select 5 that you would like to communicate with, such as 5 suburbs or postcodes, and we can generate that information into the system. I'm just now going to show you how we can clean this detail up by coming up and clicking into the details area. We have got all records. By selecting all records, we can see that we've got 8,535, and we're now going to do an in-depth find. How we do this find is we hit find, we select the state that we require, being New South Wales, and the postcode that I would like to keep. So I would like to select New South Wales 2250. I'm going to come up and I'm going to hit omit. This is going to take this group of contacts out of my found set that I'm going to delete. I also want to select another postcode within my state. I can come up and hit request, add new request, and this feature is only available when you're in find mode. We can scroll down, select New South Wales, the next postcode that we require, hit omit, and then add another request. So there may be a few postcodes that I would like to keep out of that specific 8,535. I hit omit to omit this client out as well, and then come up to request and the last lot of details that I require. I'm going to select New South Wales, and I'm going to populate the postcode in here as well. If I can't remember how many postcodes I've added in here and which postcodes I have asked the database to find for me, I can use my arrow key to go back and see all my requests. So I'm asking it to find New South Wales 2256, 2257, 2250, and the last one that I require is 2251. So I'm asking the database to do 4 specific finds on 4 individual postcodes. I'm going to hit omit, and then I'll come up and hit perform find. That has omitted the people out of that category, and now I have 8,491 that I need to delete out of my database that I don't require, which is Australia-wide essentially. Before doing any major deletes, you must do a backup from your complete data. You go up to records, and at the moment I'm deleting my found records. Just to recap, these are my found records here, 8419. These are everybody I don't want to keep. I've omitted the other group out, and they will remain once I've done my delete. So we come up to records, come down to delete found records. It does prompt us the whole way, saying we're permanently deleting 8,491 records in the current found set. We can hit delete all, and now I'm just left with my remaining 44 solicitors that are in my immediate postcode and area that I work. This will clean up the database so that in session 3, when we're selecting against a sales advice, we can populate the details and our list is quite short to scroll through. If you do require to add in any extra details for any other solicitors in your particular area, once you get a contract in, you may need to do a new record, populate the details, his address, and the suburb of the solicitors. I can click on the little magnifying and that will populate the details or ask me to select one of the following. I'll just select Kincumber, New South Wales 2251 and that will populate the detail in here for me. We can also generate the rest of the data entry, phone, fax and email address and letters greeting. Now that I've completed this detail, I can now come back to my systems area and complete today's session. There is a lot of information from these training sessions that you will achieve. You will also have some implementations that you will need to attain and implement into your business or your system. The best place to capture these implementations is through our implementation database. You can select on implementation and we can come in here and we can create our new implementation. We just come up to new task and we're going to select our detail, my name, my description, so mine is complete all letters, templates and trails from session 1 and I'm going to give myself a due date. I'm going to select 2 weeks time. This tells me that we have days till due 14 and there is no budget for this. If there was a budget for the implementation that I'm popping in, you can capture this detail in this area. Once it's completed, you can tag it as completed, yes, and you can sign off on this as being completed. We can also write some detailed notes about what we would like to implement. So we may just populate this detail in here, or highlight this detail. Select the detail, copy it, come down to write note and paste the description in here. We may have an agenda, we may have a breakdown of the times and days that we would like to implement this information and we can just paste it in. So Monday might be letters, Tuesday might be templates and Wednesday may be trails. So you can go through and enter these details. Click on the grey screen here and you'll notice that it asks us for an update. We have to hit update note for this to save this feature. So that's how we can track out and implement our details that we've captured that we need to move forward with throughout the session. The last thing that we need to complete before we complete the session is a backup. It is one of the most important features that we need to do with our system. As those of you who are running the Plus program need to do a backup every day. It is the best process to back up by hitting the backup feature, or you will be prompted to back up when you hit close. Either way, we can select the details that we require and I've just selected backup. In here it tells me that we've got a warning, it's going to back up all of my letters in this path here. We require this detail and we select OK. This takes a few moments, and we always save the backup to our desktop. This is the correct format that we would need to provide our backup to and direct it to. In a moment we'll have a prompt that comes up and we'll just select desktop. Once we've saved it to our desktop, then we can hit OK. And it tells me that my backup has been created successfully. I select OK, and that will put it as a zip folder on my desktop. We need to minimize this information, go and find our backup in our zip folder and put it into the relevant detail. I do recommend that you create a folder on your desktop, new folder, and being Complete Data Weekly Backups, click into this folder, right click, create a new folder in the folder, select Monday, and then go through and create new folders through to Sunday. Now that we've created these folders through to Sunday, we need to find our backup and drag it and drop it into the relevant day. As my system saves it onto my desktop as I'm Terminal Services, I need to just go to the Start menu and find my details. It would be a zip folder, and we would just capture this folder here, and it will say Complete Data Backup. Mine's deciding it's not going to play with me, but we would just grab the zipped folder and we would drag it and drop it into our folders here. So we just collect on here, drag it and drop it into Monday. So it will be a Complete Data zipped folder. So then when we come into Monday, we can see that we've got Complete Data Backup, and it will have the Complete Data information in here. We need to go back and run that backup every day from Monday through to Sunday. It is best to keep 2 weeks worth of backups and then create a folder in here saying old backups, and put any of our old backups that we remove from these folders once they become outdated. So keep 2 Mondays, 2 Sundays in each folder. Once you go to put the third folder in here, you just copy the details, go back a folder and pop it in the old backups. And then we're off and running. So make sure that you've got a folder created saying Complete Data Weekly Backups, Monday through to Sunday, and then drag and drop your backup into the relevant day. Keep 2 weeks worth of backups, as your data is only as good as your last backup, so we can always give you a new copy of Complete Data, but we can't give you a new copy of your data if you have not successfully backed up. Keeping 2 weeks prevents any issues coming up, as databases do start to go corrupt behind the scenes. Sometimes you may not know, so that's why we do request that you save 2 weeks worth of backups, and then once a week copy the folder off your desktop here and copy it, and then put that onto an external hard drive or a USB. This will save this out of the office and off your computer, so that if your computer does crash, that you are able to attain that information off the USB or external hard drive. Going back to our complete data now, we're just going to close down and we're going to hit the close feature. This concludes Complete Data Online Training Session 1, and we can select Close. Also, just a quick note, if you do require to set up your SMS provider, you can come into Systems and into the Support database. In the Support database, we do have a list of commonly asked questions, and you may find your resolution in this area. I'm just going to click into Details and select on Find SMS Provider or SMS as the category, and hit Perform the Find. The first details that it brings up here is Mobile Messenger. You would need to create an account with an external company. We do not set up the purchase of credits from Complete Data. There are about 5 companies that are compatible, such as Mobile Messenger, Clickatel, SMS Factory, and so on. If you'd like to contact the support team, we can send you through an email of the details of all the other compatible companies that you will be able to research on the net and come to a conclusion of who you'd like to move forward with. However, we do recommend Mobile Messenger, as they are quite reliable and we have been recommending them and using them for the last 10 years. Also ask for the delay period after you've sent an SMS out. Some companies are cheaper, but they do send them out at a cheaper time or a cheaper rate, and it may be delayed by an hour or 2 or maybe more. So please confirm that with your SMS provider when you're setting up an SMS account. As you can see here, we've got Mobile Messenger's details, so you can give them a call or jump onto their website and view their details and set up an account. An account usually takes 2 to 3 days to be able to provide this information and create your account, and then once we've completed this and we've got our account details, we can come into Complete Data main menu, up to Scripts, come down to Enter SMS username and password, pop in our username that they've provided us with, the password and the SMS gateway. We can select in here the gateway of the company that you have chose. So the company that you've chosen will appear in this list, as these are the only compatible companies. So if you do require some further information, you will need to research these companies as such. We'll just select Mobile Messenger and populate the rest of the relevant information. I'm just going to click Cancel, and that completes today's session. I look forward to training you in future sessions and session 2, which is coming up shortly. Have a great day, and thank you for attending.